Wasn't a great Giant, but he was a great Jet, I guess. You want to say a great Jet? He was a great Bengal, that's for sure. And that's Boomer Esiason. Boomer Esiason basically saying that the Giants are stuck with Daniel Jones. That's what he said, stuck with Daniel Jones. He said the moment that Joe Schoen goes over to New England and says what he says, and the moment they're interviewing quarterbacks, they're not really talking about Daniel Jones, but they really are talking about Daniel Jones. Boomer said that on the WFAN Sports Radio. He says, because they don't know what to expect from Daniel Jones. Now, that part we already know is true. Like Joe Schoen's already said, you have to have an insurance policy. We don't know if he's going to be ready to play or not. That's been very clear from the very get-go. I don't know why that would be considered breaking news there. But why is he bringing it up now? Like, we already know this, Boomer. We already know that he's potentially not here long term. We already know he's potentially, not going to be fully healthy this season. We already know these things. Like, you're just stating the obvious for some reason, But this is where it gets bad. He goes, you look at the injuries. You then take what Joe Buck said during one of the games when Brian Daboll was lamenting to Joe Buck that he has to be the energy and needs his quarterback to be the energy. And then you take what Rich Eisen said about the Giants being done with Daniel Jones, essentially. They're stuck with Daniel Jones. As I'm sitting here this morning, that's how I look at it. I think stuck is a really
it's a harsh term of how to phrase it. That's like kindergarten terms of saying what's going on right here. It's not that there's
and not like kindergarten cop terms. Like it's not like that. Like it is not.
Who's your daddy? Who is Daniel Jones and what does he do?
But it's like we all know that Daniel Jones is not who Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll want as quarterback. Most likely, let's be honest. Like they signed him because they didn't have other options. Now they don't have another option that's better than him again. So, I look at it, and I don't want to say they're stuck with him. He's just the best option available to them for right now. I mean, if you want to say it that way, then you can say that about 90% of the teams out there. Okay, fine. Baltimore stuck with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a little better to be stuck with Lamar Jackson.
No, I don't disagree, but I'm just saying.
And I know what you're saying.
I know what I will say this. Maybe I don't disagree because Lamar Jackson sucks in the playoffs, and Daniel Jones is 1-1. Just saying.
I mean, I guess you're not wrong there, and he's a lot cheaper.
I'm trying to give a positive, damn it. I'm trying to give a positive.
He's a lot cheaper.
He also gets in every year, but
Yeah.
Just saying. So, but again, I don't get why bring it up and say stuck like it's a negative thing. Like, is he the ideal quarterback? No. But I still think there's situations that are worse in this league. I really do.
So,
I mean, we talked about Minnesota the last segment. That's a bad scenario. You got a rookie quarterback whose best move was handing the ball to the running back. And you got a guy who literally has not been able to succeed now at 3 different places. That's not a good scenario. You got Arizona, whose quarterback prefers playing Call of Duty than working out. To the point where they had to write into his contract. There's a lot worse scenarios to be had, guys. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is the answer. We try to be the level-headed people here. He's a middle quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's not a horrible quarterback.
Going down the line, we were talking about before being stuck. We talked about this quarterback, 2 weeks ago. Mr. Maybe he's made with it. Maybe it's Rathleen, Mr. Lawrence himself, Trevor.
Yeah.
They just paid down in Jacksonville. They just paid him $2. Oh, Christopher, appreciate it.
Yeah, subscribe, damn it, he says.
Yeah. But they just paid him a lot of money. Is it fair to say that Jacksonville stuck with Trevor Lawrence?
You know what? They are now.
They are, but
they are now.
But
they seem to want to have been stuck with him. That's the thing.
Yeah, but
that's why I'm saying stuck is a hard term because you're stuck with every quarterback on a big contract.
Yeah, and in hindsight now, DJ was paid a lot for the time, but it's not that big of a contract these days anymore.
No, not especially when you compare it to Dexter Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence, wrong Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence. The contract is such similar numbers, such a huge contract comparatively, and it's an albatross of a contract. I think they're going to realize that in a couple of years once they start seeing issues with the way he plays for what they're paying him. It's just out of whack. It really is. So,
yeah.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please.